Hi everyone, this is Ibrahim Shishabor, and this is the second part of a segment that I'm making about the Sam Harris interview with Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks channel. And in this part, Sam talks about how Islam and its notion of martyrdom creates a basis for acts of terror, and how Christianity and Judaism, and this is one of the differences between Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and how they don't have this kind of notion. So they're considered less of a threat in Harris's mind than Islam, at least in the present day. So I'll let you watch the part where he talks about this. It's a very small part, and then I'll be back to talk about them myself. Bye.
Dig deeper. It's the most barbaric book. One crucial difference, apart from differences of the sort that I just mentioned, the crucial difference is there's no clear notion of paradise and hell. There's no promise of martyrdom. There's nothing. You're not going to get the 72 virgins if you're a Jew. There's not this.
No, but there is punishment. When Saul does not kill all of them, then God strikes him down.
You can't, but there's no basis for this ecstatic death cult where you want to get to the other lives.
Saul was told by God that he should commit genocide on the Amalekites.
Yes.
And when he did not, God punished him. So it is you have to make sure that you commit the genocide.
But it is much more about living in this world and waiting for the Messiah. If you are
So there you saw the part of the Sam Harris debate where he talks about martyrdom and the notion of heaven and hell in Islam. What he's trying to present, if I want to put it in a clear-cut sentence, is that martyrdom and the belief in the notion of martyrdom is a great ambition for someone to fight and to act in the way that the religion and the belief talks about. Because when you have this belief that if you do this and you die, you will go to a better place, then it's a great motive, an ambition for you to do it. But if you don't have this idea of there be nothing for you afterwards, then there's a very logical question of why should I do this? So he says that this is one of the flaws that Islam has, that it's radical ideas and beliefs and actions that it believes are right and justified there is a more chance of a Muslim committing these acts of terror or whatever he believes are terrorist acts than someone in Christianity, Judaism, or other beliefs, because they don't have this notion of martyrdom. And the second point that he makes is about the belief and the notion of heaven and hell, how it's very clear cut in Islam, and in Christianity and Judaism it's vague, and you might even dismiss it as being not existent, and so on, and which is not really important, but it has something to do with our topic, so we'll get to it later. And once again, I'm saying I'm not going to talk about Islam and Muhammad or anyone else, any other belief. I'm not trying to defend anybody. I'm just trying to say what I believe and my view is, and how a logical, unbiased conversation and debate should be done, and research of an ideology, of a concept, of an opinion, of someone's legacy must be done. So let's get to the point here. Martyrdom. What is martyrdom? And this negative point, if you like to call it, which Islam has and other beliefs don't have, is been used by not just Sam Harris in this debate. It's been used a lot by Hawkins, by Hitchens, and other people as well. And it's one of their most important facts that they use against Islam, and why it is more dangerous than other ideologies, at least in the present day and context. So, martyrdom, or what is martyrdom? Martyrdom, in the essence of the word, means dying for what you believe is right. Jihad and jihadists are those who act in what they believe is right and fight for what they believe is right. And fighting, I don't mean in just the sense of taking weapons and swords and spears and fighting someone else. I mean, jihad in its basic form means doing the right thing. And martyrs, whether it's providing for your family, praying, visiting your elders, visiting your family, and whatever. One concept is fighting. And martyrdom is the death of a jihadist. So, in Islamic ideology, if you're a true Muslim and you are providing for your family, because it is your duty, and it makes no difference for you what the right thing is, you will do it and you will act on it no matter the consequence and what it is, whether it's easy or hard or whether it's harmful or not. You will do it. So if there's a war, I will go and fight in the war. If there is work to be done domestically, I will do it. If I have to raise my family, I have to raise my children. If I have to help my elders, my parents, my neighborhood, or whatever, makes no difference to me. I will do what is right. No matter what. He is a jihadist. And if he dies while he is farming and providing for, and this is important, he is a martyr. He is a martyr. It doesn't make any difference. And he will be given what is promised to the martyrs about the heaven and everything, the rivers of honey and whatever that Sam Harris says, or 72 virgins and things like this. And don't know where he got the 72 virgins from, but we'll just accept it. It doesn't matter really. So this is the fundamental notion of martyrdom, martyrdom and what it means, and who martyrs are. So when I want to make an argument of criticizing and dismissing an ideology, my own beliefs must be 180 degrees different from what I'm criticizing and ignoring and dismissing, or at least different enough so as to not justifiably put my own ideology in the same context as the one I'm criticizing and dismissing. So when you understand this notion of martyrdom and what Sam Harris and Hitchens and all those who criticize this aspect of Islamic life as being a basis for fundamental and active terrorism, is that, I'll explain it once again, is that when I'm criticizing it, it must be that my own belief and ideology does not have the same thing in it. And what I mean by this, by the same notion, it means that their own ideology, Sam Harris's, Hitchens, Christians, or Judas, or whoever criticize this, must not have this notion that if you die for justice, there will be no difference between you and the people who are fighting against you, or someone who escaped from war, who did not come to it because he was scared and didn't want to lose his things like this. There is no difference. Either from the ones who ran away from war, who did not care to enter, or the one fighting against you. Because, as I said, martyrdom is dying as a person who's dead, who dies in the way of a just cause. Do you think Christianity is like this? That Christianity says, or Judaism, or any religion that believes in a being creating the universe, and that we are going to be judged by our actions in this world, it's going to say, Christianity says, Judaism says, if you eat pork, you're going to be judged, and you're going to be punished. But if you die in a just cause, or if you die in an unjust cause, it's going to make no difference. in the day of judgment. And this is what Christianity says as well. It is impossible. That is impossible. And if what I'm saying, my logic, has not entered the mind of a Christian, of a Jew, or someone like Sam Harris, or whoever has not thought about this before, it's not really important. But what is important is, it's important in itself, but what is more important is people who now understand what I'm saying and still cannot believe that Christianity has any notion of martyrdom. It must have a notion of martyrdom. If it does not, I told you, it would mean that somebody who dies in a just cause for what is right will be no different from someone who's been hit by a car while he was going to or do whatever sin, or adultery, or eating pork, or drinking whatever, or eating whatever, or going to say lies, or is going to steal something, and he gets hit by a car. There is going to be no difference. He will be judged for that last act at least, exactly as if he'd done nothing. And the person who dies while he's going to fight, or like the firefighter who's going to die, or someone who's going to fight the notion of terrorist that Sam Harris and everyone else has, or the guy who dissolves bombs or whatever, diffuses bombs or whatever. These guys, if they die, there will be no difference between them and the bad guys that they were fighting or whatever. And that is completely illogical. There is no way any ideology which believes in judgment, it is so illogical. It is so illogical. It's contradictory that any ideology that says no, actually says no, and it obviously says no, not what people believe. No, this ideology rejects this belief. No, you can't be sure about the ideologies, the views on anything by what people say, and their own belief and their own understanding of the notion. So this is about Judaism and Christianity, that there is no way they will dismiss this notion of martyrdom. It just doesn't make sense. It is the most stupid and contradictory belief in all aspects of any religion. If you believe in judgment, but you don't believe in the difference between dying, it's a part of life. It's like taking a part of life and saying you're not going to be judged on this part of life from minute 1 to minute 10. You're not going to be judged. Why? It's a part of my life. And the second part, and it's more important. Here I'm going to talk about Sam Harris's beliefs and what he believes is right and wrong. Do you think that Mr. Harris believes that? Let's imagine the firefighter. This notion of martyrdom, it doesn't mean just glorifying some. It's not just the notion of heaven and paradise and the 72 virgins that gives ambition to someone to do. It's just, oh man, there's 72 virgins. That's exactly the number I had in mind. And virgins, that's exactly what I had in mind. Now, this is motivation enough for me to go and do this thing. No, much simpler things and much more simple notions can give motivation to someone to do these things. So in the basic, like the notion of glory. Does Sam Harris believe that if a firefighter dies fighting a fire and saving people, or a soldier, or someone who protects our borders, or whatever, or a bomb diffuser, or whatever, if they are killed and if they die fighting for these causes, should they be glorified? Should they be called heroes? Should their families be compensated or not? Does it make no difference? If you die, if if like Mr. Hitchens, when he was debating these things, and Mr. Hitchens was for the war against Iraq, for America's occupation of Iraq. So, Mr. Hitchens, do you believe that the U.S. soldier or the coalition soldiers, the British, whatever, soldiers that died were the same as the Iraqi soldiers that died? Bush was the same as Saddam? Or Sam Harris? Sam Harris was not for the war, but whatever. Does he think that everyone is the same? Everyone who dies, this is the same, no matter what cause they fight for? That can't be right. That doesn't make sense. Then there is no ambition to fight. But we glorify because we know it's right. First of all, it's right, and it creates ambition for someone to do these things. We compensate their families because it's right, and it creates ambition to do these things. So my point is that Mr. Harris, either you believe that the firefighter, the bomb diffuser, the soldier, the doctor, or whatever, the guy who works in the mines, or these are very simple, but those, especially those first examples, they should just be put in the ground, nothing else, and forget their names. No, what you must believe in, because if you don't believe in this, then there is something much more fundamentally wrong with what you believe in, your ideas and your opinions and your ideology. There must be a difference between someone who takes the path of the righteous and the one who does not, and the one who stands in his way and opposes him. And I believe that even if you don't believe in God, there must be a difference between those two. The firefighter, he must be, the soldier, he must be glorified. He must be, so what are he must be glorified, his family becomes, and these are motives enough for some people, or are they not? Many people have this great visions of glory. After they die, I will be remembered forever, and things like this. My name will move throughout the ages. And these are motivations. These are motivations for someone to go and do what they believe is right. What they believe is right. I said compensating families and etc. etc. They will be called heroes and things like this. They will be remembered. So I said you should have, as I said, you should have your ideology must be 180 degrees different from the one you're criticizing. But if the fundamental reasoning is that promising a reward, whether it's physical, like the virgins or the part of the world, or where it's not non-physical, like glory and things like this, and remembrance and other notions of anything that is maybe called a reward, can be ambition for someone to do these things. I'm saying that your belief also has ambition. Christianity, every single belief must give ambition, must give motives for those who fight for what is right, who move in the righteous path according to the belief of the ideology. And there must be a difference for someone who dies on the path, and for the belief. So, what he says that Mr. Harris doesn't realize this, and it's such an obvious point, even though I talk so much about it. So this is one of the other things that I think that Mr. Harris and Hitchens are making such a fundamental mistake about. And unfortunately, no one here on the side of the Muslims and the Christian, the Jews, and the other believers, even their own atheists, can come to me that, hey, well, you're saying that, but in truth, there is a difference. There is a difference, and we believe in the difference between them. And this may give motive. Now, we can talk about now, it's important that Sam Harris, and the last point is, Sam Harris does not talk about that the different basis of motivation that they give, the 72 virgins, the paradise, and things like that, between the compensation for the family and just in this image of glory and being called a hero. Yes, there may be a difference between them, but the difference is not because that martyrs are considered less in the atheist belief. Martyrs, as in, forget the name, the meaning, those who die for what atheists believe is right. It is not because they consider less than what theist believers, those who believe in God and heaven and paradise and judgment, their notion of a martyr or someone who dies in what they believe is just cause, it's not because it's different or they believe less and they believe more. It's because because they don't believe in the afterlife. This is the only way. This is the most that they can compensate, and this is the most reward that they can give someone who dies in this cause. But they have much greater abilities. When there's much more things you can do and give as rewards when you believe in the afterlife and that they will not die and they will not be going to oblivion. So, and the last, I said, the most important point is just to bring my whole argument together in one sentence. Sam Harris does not debate that this is more motivation. My belief, or their belief, or the Judaism belief, or the Christianity belief in the death, in the righteous of the righteous, is less than the belief of the belief of the Muslims, the Islamic ideology and doctrine, or the rewards. The rewards are less here and more there, so there's more ambition here, there's less here. No, he says that there is no belief in martyrdom in Christianity. So in essence, he's saying there is no belief that there is a difference between those who die for a just cause and those who die for an unjust cause, an evil cause, in Christianity and Judaism. And of course, my atheist belief, there is no difference. There is no difference. And it is only in Islam that there is a difference between those who die for a just cause and those who die for an unjust cause. And that is completely untrue. If it is true, and if Christianity and Judaism and atheism or Buddhism or whatever belief accepts that there is no difference, then they must fundamentally say that there is no difference between right and wrong. There is no difference between someone who tells the truth or someone who lies. Those who provide for his family and works for his money, and those who steals. So this is my argument here, and I don't want to bore you because I talked a lot here. And the next segment I'll make hopefully in the next few days. And I hope you watch this and that you enjoyed. And if you enjoyed, please share with your friends and other people. And I would very, very much like to hear your comments on it, especially, as I said, Sam Harris's and Cenk Uygur's comments on my views. Thank you for watching. Bye.